It's hard to live up to the standard set by your older brother. Hi everyone, my name is Chris and welcome to Tread Talks, where I walk on this treadmill to stay in shape while making videos for you fine people. You know, it's hard being a sequel, and it's especially hard when you're coming after an original that was such a surprise hit, because suddenly people start wondering, can you recapture the magic while also expanding upon it? This is the expectations landscape that Kingsman: The Golden Circle steps into, and what became clear for me as I was watching the movie is that for every successful step forward, there's a misstep that follows. The first Kingsman was a refreshing and modern homage to the original James Bond spy series. We followed Taron Egerton, who plays Eggsy, as he's recruited into the international spy agency known as the Kingsman. And in the sequel, we continue to follow him as they team up with their cousin organization in the United States called the Statesmen, and they team up together to take out another psychopathic villain. Now the movie gets off to a strong start. We immediately go into a fight and action sequence that is impressive, it moves the plot forward, and it makes us feel like we're in for a wild ride, especially if this is the first action scene in the movie. They also make some good choices about which relationships to continue forward from the original, while also finding a decent way to not have us following too many of those folks. And then from there, the movie is really a mixed bag. And so we're going to go into a series of, on the one hand, it was good, but on the other hand, it was bad. On the one hand, Julianne Moore was a pleasure to watch as the villain. Every time she comes on screen, it's interesting and it's a treat to watch. On the other hand, her characterization is shallow to the point of being introduced through a simple news report halfway through the movie. And her scheme, and I know the schemes in the movies are supposed to be over the top, but this is ludicrous to the point of being silly. And on the one hand, the action scenes and the fight sequences are impressive and well made, and it carries on that Matthew Vaughn style of frenetic camera work that still allows you to follow the action. It's kind of clever in the way that it makes it look like the fight scenes were filmed in just a couple of really long takes. On the other hand, there's nothing here that tops the best of what the original has to offer, and certainly nothing that is as disturbing or envelope pushing as that fight scene in the church from the original. Now, as far as expanding the universe of the Kingsman is concerned, they do a decent job of working in the connection to the Statesman in a way that's organic to the plot, and it's fun to see the Kentucky version of the Kingsman. On the other hand, there isn't enough time to flesh out any of the new characters to the extent that we actually begin to care about them. In fact, they waste precious screen time on a character that literally gets put on ice for the majority of the story. I think they were trying to set him up for Kingsman 3, but it came at the expense of better characterization for the other characters. And this is a shame because you've got some really good actors here. I think this is the first time that I've seen Pedro Pascal not be a standout performance. In fact, he was a little bit better in The Great Wall than he was here, and it's not his fault, but it's just that he isn't given a lot to do. And you know, that also extends to the main characters. In the original, we had a pretty strong core arc for Eggsy, and it was satisfying to watch him grow and to see his relationship with Colin Firth unfold. Here, on the other hand, it all feels a little bit muddled and flat, or at least not to the depth that it creates an emotional investment from us. Now, there are a few things that the movie does well, and sometimes better than the original. I really enjoyed all of the gadgets in the movie. They introduced several new ones that feel pretty original to me, and they're not only interesting in and of themselves, they also make for some entertaining circumstances, including a tracking device which is amazing in its capabilities, but it's pretty hard to put in place. And you also probably remember Mark Hamill's appearance in the original. Well, the celebrity cameo here is even better and more entertaining, and it got some of the biggest laughs in the movie. And finally, the soundtrack is something the series continues to nail. I found myself continually impressed by the music selection because it was unexpected but so fitting and appropriate. It always enhances the scenes. But for all the things that are plainly good here, there are just as many that aren't. There are several instances, especially in the second half, where the plot feels contrived. I had to tell myself over and over again, don't think about how, don't think about why, just go with it. In addition to that, it's unnecessarily predictable. There are some things that could have made for some interesting and surprising reveals at the end, but instead, because they didn't make it ambiguous, we're just waiting for it to happen. And then it does. And then a surprise was had by no one. So in the end, Kingsman: The Golden Circle succeeds as much as it fails. It's a sequel that can't live up to the original, but that survives on action and style. And that's why I give Kingsman: The Golden Circle 3 out of 5 stars. Okay, so that was Kingsman: The Golden Circle, and I want to know, did you happen to like it more or less than the original? Whatever it is, leave it in the comments, I'd love to know. Beyond that, if you like this video and you want to keep up with my content, please like and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and it would be great if you were a part of that group. In addition to that, click the little bell icon to be notified when a new video goes up. Either way, thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.